7 points and 12 rebounds. The Cowboys will play for a Southland Tournament title today at 4 versus Stephen F. Austin. LRN. The free agents the Saints signed on Monday will become official today at 3 p.m. when the new NFL league year begins. New Orleans' most notable addition is former Jaguars running back and Jennings native Travis Etienne. WWL Saints sideline reporter Jeff Nowak says Etienne is a great pickup.
I think it's exactly what they need. He's really good at the inside zone. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's been productive. He's been healthy. I think he's only missed one game in his career. I played in 17 games in the other 3 seasons. He's been a 1,000-yard rusher in 3 of his 4 seasons.
LSU plays Kentucky at 11:30 in the SEC men's basketball tourney, and once the Tigers are eliminated, the Matt McMahon era could be over. Many LSU fans want Will Wade back, and Tiger Rag editor Glenn Gilbo says that includes some top LSU officials.
Lee Mallett is a big Will Wade fan, the head of the board of supervisors. The new president of LSU, Wade Roos, was at McNeese when Will Wade was at McNeese. There's a lot of Will Wade love at LSU.
LRN.
KSYL.
Spring begins in 9 days, and this year, economists are calling it a blue-collar spring. You see, while AI is eliminating white-collar jobs, the trades are booming, and the paychecks are following. I'm Kim Commando for The Current, my 5-star rated daily newsletter read by nearly 1 million people like you. Sign up for free at getkim.com. Here's who's most at risk now: writers, translators, airline ticket agents, entry-level sales, and web developers. So if your job lives entirely on a screen, AI is already doing a version of it cheaper and faster. Now, here's who's untouchable: electricians, plumbers, mechanics, HVAC techs, heavy equipment operators, line workers, police officers, firefighters. Basically, jobs that require real-time judgment, fast-changing environments, and hands that touch things. AI cannot unclog your drain. It cannot rewire your panel. The era of looking down on blue-collar work, done. The new job security, a truck, license, and a skill set no algorithm can do. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Hi there, I'm Kim Commando. Tech isn't just a part of our lives anymore. It runs our lives. From the phone in your pocket to your bank account, your job, your car, your kids, even your home security. Everything's all connected. And the truth is, most people are just trying to keep up. That's why I created The Current. It's my free daily newsletter that gives you the most important tech stories, the ones that actually matter, delivered in plain English with no fluff and no politics. I cover AI, crypto, scams to avoid, gadgets worth knowing about, and how to protect your privacy in a digital world that just doesn't slow down. Almost 1 million smart people already get it, and it's rated 5 out of 5 stars on Google and Trustpilot. Every American needs to understand how tech is shaping their lives, and The Current helps you do just that every single morning. Sign up right now at getkim.com. My newsletter 100% free. That's getkim.com, and I'll see you in your inbox tomorrow.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Judge swings and misses, and Italy has pulled off a stunner. The biggest win in Italian baseball history. They shocked the United States 8-6.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome on into Talkback on a Wednesday. I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell. Hope you are all doing well today. Stephen, the baseball world was shocked last night. Shocked, I tell you.
We let Italy beat us in baseball. That's okay. We took the Pope from them. That's even bigger.
As Sergeant Holka once said, welcome to Italy.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's baseball for you.
It is, but it's kind of weird because the the manager for Team America, Mark DeRosa, he was doing an interview yesterday afternoon on MLB Network, of which he's an employee in his regular job, and he was talking about the fact that the U.S. had already qualified for the quarterfinals. And later he had to admit he misspoke, but people are wondering if he didn't fill out his lineup based on that mistake, because he had a whole bunch of the backup players playing last night, and they fell behind 8-0, and it was like, holy cow. So they did come back a little bit, cut it to 8-6, had the tying run on base with Aaron Judge at the plate there, and he struck out. And all across the Twitterverse, baseball Twitterverse, people are saying, don't you know that Aaron Judge always strikes out in the clutch, even though he has gaudy numbers every year. Apparently, a lot of his loyal fans don't think he's that clutch. But in any case, here's what happens now. In pool play, you have 3 teams that are in the mix, depending on what happens today. So the U.S. is done. They end up going 3-1 for the pool. And now they have to wait. They beat Mexico 2 nights ago. Italy plays Mexico today. So if Italy can beat Mexico, then the U.S. will advance because Mexico will have lost both games against the common opponents. But if Mexico wins, then it gets really interesting. Then it goes to a tiebreaker because each team will be 1-1 against each other. And it would be if Mexico wins and scores 5 or more runs, then Mexico and the U.S. would advance. If Mexico wins and scores 4 or less runs, then Mexico and Italy advance. So that's kind of crazy.
Well, I'm just shocked we let, Italy beat us in our sport.
Yeah.
I didn't know they played baseball over there.
Let me say this. Almost every player on Italy is a major league player or a minor league player from the U.S.
Was their great-grandpa was possibly Italian?
Right. You have guys like,
that's fair
like
enough.
Jack Caglione. I mean, obviously an Italian name. He had a couple of big hits yesterday. So it's not like we were playing Punch and Judy ball players.
I would rather Italy than other countries, though. Italy's a cool country.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it there. There's a lot of meat in there. So
that's it. Now, there are a couple of really good games today that you might want to watch if you like baseball. First of all, 2:00, Canada against Cuba. And that's an elimination game. Whichever team wins advances. Whichever team loses is done. So who do you root for in Canada and Cuba, where you have 2 communist countries going up against each other?
That might be a little bit of a stretch, but I'd assume Cuba would win, right?
Probably favored. And then Italy against Mexico is at 6:00. And then tonight, Stephen, you want to make sure your wife watches this game. 7:00, Dominican Republic against Venezuela.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, on FS1.
Well, I'm going to have to go for Venezuela.
Of course. We're
Yeah.
definitely rooting for Venezuela.
I hope they get it.
If the U.S. loses or doesn't advance, I'm rooting for Team Venezuela.
Oh, yeah. They're basically America now. So.
Yeah, that's right. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. So, but
they got some good ball players over there.
They do. And then yesterday, Japan, they advanced, but their game against Czechia, which I believe is made up of Czechoslovakia and other parts of that area.
Interesting.
I've
always wanted to visit Czechia.
They were tied 0-0 with Japan after 4 2/3 with their pitcher, who by trade is an electrician.
Nice.
And it was his last time he was going to perform in the World Baseball Classic. So they took him out with 1 out in the 5th inning, or 2 outs in the 5th inning. But then they gave up 9 runs, so they might have wanted to leave him in.
That's what makes Czechia great. You can go from electrician to star World Baseball Classic pitcher.
Exactly. All right, big day in high school basketball today. We have 3 games of major interest locally. 4:30 down in Lake Charles at Marsh Madness, as they call it. It will be the Ash Trojans taking on Edna Carr. Then at 6:15, the Green Demons of Mamu take on those Marksville Tigers. And then finally, coming up at 8:00, it'll be the Charging Indians of Washington Marion against the Peabody Warhorses.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Peabody and Ash are not in the same thing, huh? I don't think so.
Like 5A, 4A, select, non-select. I'm not even sure.
It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, the LHSA has way too many divisions for me to keep up with. Now, if I was doing sports every day, I'd be on top of it. And I'm sure there's somebody who is in our audience that might know. But
those are the only local teams in the boys bracket left?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, I believe so. Here, let's see if I can get you more details on that. So Ash is in the Select Division 1 Final Four.
They're 4A or 5A?
Does
that even matter?
Select Division 1.
I guess I don't know anything about high school sports anymore.
Yeah, and Carr was the 11th seed, but they've made their way through. Peabody, let's see, it doesn't say what they are in, what division. I'll have to do a little more research.
I got you. No big deal.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to them.
A lot of layers to this state playoff thing now.
I've been seeing that Marksville's a pretty salty team this year. Throughout the year. So
well,
good for them.
I believe their coach, Oki Benjamin, had been at, was it the Royals Charter? And then decided to go over to Marksville, and his son is apparently a tremendous player as well. And went with him.
In baseball, so whenever I was playing baseball in high school, the Royals Charter was kind of brand new, and we always loved playing a Royals Charter. It was such a great.
You would beat up on them?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day?
I'm sure they're better now.
Probably so.
No. They were like a fancy school too, we called them.
Yeah, so with the playoff brackets in LHSAA, you have non-select, which are basically, I think, kind of like used to be the private schools, but if you allow open enrollment like Rapides Parish does, you get lumped into that group. So you have, or is that select? I'm confused. But anyway, you have non-select divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have select divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have classes B and C. So,
you get a state championship. You get a state
10 state championships.
Everybody gets a state championship. I remember everybody gets a humpback whale. Remember that?
Yes. And I will say this, and I've felt this way for years. The LHSA might have the worst website I've ever seen. It's like not easy to navigate and find like the information that you want.
Is it from back in the day?
It's just like clunky. Like, show me a page where it shows like where all the games are today.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like obvious as I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, I see. I can see what you're saying.
Right? It's like.
Well, I was trying to check on Menard girls last week, and I remember it being difficult to find.
Right. Right.
I think that's the least of our worries with the LHSAA for some people, but
true.
Good luck to them, and I hope they can all three get it as long as they're not going against each other.
Yeah.
Big news. Can I flip the script here?
You can.
Chick-fil-A tomorrow is going to be set up in the parking lot of Max Fresh Market on 28 East in Pineville. So you can have a little pop-up restaurant right there, and I've heard some rumblings from our local officials and leaders that this is kind of a testing moment to see how much traction they get to possibly build a Chick-fil-A in Pineville. That's, unsubstantiated. It might just be speculation.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're in a Chick-fil-A, check it out. And, me and you, we're not like smart business people, right? Let's be honest. Maybe you are. I know I'm not. I can barely balance my checkbook. But I just see as a no-brainer putting a Chick-fil-A in Pineville, either 28 or Kingsville. I just can't imagine why it wouldn't be successful. But then again, I'm not the one who opens it up and spends the money. But that'll be tomorrow.
Maybe by the time they'd open one, well, that would probably be on 28 East, I guess. Maybe that's the area they're looking at. I was going to say maybe by that time they'll have all the road work done on 165.
It should be done Friday, hopefully.
Okay.
And I know Chick-fil-A requires a good amount of room to.
Yeah.
Aren't they one of the more expensive franchises to open? So, but I mean, if you go to Ellick, man, it's. Yeah. I've never not seen a car.
They would kill it in Pineville.
Yeah, there's just no way. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm a Chick-fil-A fan. Like if I'm eating fast food, that's probably my top choice.
Really?
We got to eat God's chicken there. We got to support. It's just I always crave it on Sunday, so it's a reminder for me to remember the Sabbath day when I can't get Chick-fil-A on Sunday. It reminds me to have a little sacrifice there.
There you go.
Seriously, I crave it every Sunday. It just feels like a good Sunday.
You know why?
Food.
It's because you can't get it on Sunday, that you want it on Sunday.
Well, I don't remember it until I'm already getting ready to go and order it. So
need to plan better.
You don't like Chick-fil-A, do you?
I feel like it's overrated. Hot take.
Well, for fast food, it's quality food.
Mm.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, what's your favorite fast food that's here? I want to hear Culver's.
No, probably
Arby's.
Probably Arby's.
Arby's. I do like Arby's.
You know I like Arby's.
That is good.
All right. Well, we'll take a break. When we come back, State Representative Gabe Furman will join us from Baton Rouge.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks have endured wild swings over the last few sessions. Jittery traders reacting to all of the headlines out of the Middle East. This morning, the International Energy Agency is said to be considering a release of emergency oil reserves that would be the largest ever in its history. That's not helping stocks. Futures are looking at a slightly lower open. In other news, a setback for the housing market. Mortgage rates increased last week by the most since September. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the rate on a 30-year loan has risen to 6.19%. The increase in borrowing costs coincides with a sharp rise in the yield on 10-year treasuries, with the war sparking concerns about inflation. And Wall Street is watching shares of Campbell's. The soup maker cut its financial forecast for the year. The company says its results fell short of expectations due to weaker than expected performance in its snacks business, which includes goldfish, and weather-related shipment delays. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What's happening at your library this spring? Everything. At Rapides Parish Library, there's something for everyone. We have book clubs, classes, and fun for all ages, all free. Adults, check out our painting classes, gardening workshops, and enjoy a live cooking demo. Kids, you can make slime, learn to draw cartoons, and more hands-on fun. Whatever your age or interest, we've got you covered. Visit your RPL library this spring. We promise you'll find something for you.
Well, one day away from sunshine, but we could see some nasty weather moving through tonight. Overcast skies on our Wednesday. 81 should do it for the afternoon high. Thunderstorms, some of those could be heavy during the evening hours tonight. And then we'll see skies becoming partly cloudy after midnight. Overnight lows down to 46. Then the sunshine returns tomorrow. Should be nice, quite a bit cooler. The high 64. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, everyone. Welcome back here on Talkback. Alan Stephen with you on a Wednesday morning. And as we know, the Louisiana legislative session is underway, got underway on Monday. A lot of things to talk about and discuss. And joining us on the phone to do that this morning is State Representative Gabe Furman from District 22. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Al. I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for calling in today. We appreciate it.
Hey, Stephen.
Morning.
Sure.
All right, so we are underway. The governor gave his kind of state of the state speech on Monday. Let's start there. What were your thoughts on what the governor had to say?
Well, I thought it was a good speech, and I was glad the governor took the time to highlight some of the good things we've done the past couple of years. I thought it was a very positive message, and I think he admitted that we've done so much the last couple of years that we are looking at a somewhat of a lighter agenda. He's got a smaller package of bills that he's pushing this session. So, but all in all, I thought it was a real good speech by the governor.
All right. So, yeah, you mentioned there's been a lot of heavy lifting the last few years. Things like insurance reform, probably that tops the list among other things. Criminal justice, yeah. Budget, all sorts of things. So what do you think will shape up to be the major issues of this session?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious, at least for people in our part of the state. Carbon capture and sequestration is going to be a hot topic. I've heard the narrative that there's not going to be a lot of insurance reform, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think we're going to, in fact, I know we're not going to see a package of 30 reform bills like we had last year coming into session, but we're still doing some things with property insurance reform and auto insurance reform. So I think we'll see some good bills come through my committee, as well as some more shots at tort reform.
All right, talking with Gabe Furman, state representative from Grant Parish, represents Grant Parish, LaSalle Parish, and now parts of Natchitoches Parish. I think I have that right, correct?
That's right, yep.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the bills that you're sponsoring. I know one you talked about on your Facebook page the other day has to do with essentially protecting church services from protesters. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I filed 17 bills, which is a pretty it was pretty ambitious, but that is the one that I'm really proud of. It's House Bill 294. Of course, we saw the episode up in Minnesota with Don Lemon and the group of protesters that I actually think that was a Southern Baptist Church there in St. Paul, Minnesota. But they came in and disrupted the service. And so what my bill would do is it would provide some limitation of liability for church leaders, for the church security team, for anyone legally attending the church service to use reasonable and necessary force to remove protesters or anyone who comes in and disrupts a church service. So in addition to that, it would provide the church some protection from lawsuits related to those sorts of disruptions.
It's crazy you would have to even file that bill. I want to talk about my favorite bill, or the one that I was hoping for, is getting rid of the inspection stickers for vehicles. The governor is proposing replacing it with a $6 QR code sticker. What do you know about that, and why even keep it in the first place?
Yeah, look, that's a very popular idea, getting rid of the inspection sticker, which I completely support. Now, I've got to admit that the QR code was a new idea for me, and I really need to get more information about that proposal. And I think my preference would certainly be to get rid of it altogether as well. So, but look, I want to hear more about the QR code and how that would work, and I just want to make sure, from my perspective, that we don't do anything that's too intrusive.
Is that so? Does the money currently with the inspection stickers still go to state police? Is that how it works?
That's how it works now. I have not seen the details of the proposed QR code. I'm not sure exactly where that money would go. So, but those are things we certainly need to figure out before we go too much further.
No, for sure. Okay.
Now, you said you filed 17 bills. Is that right?
17. Yeah, and look, some of them are little minor tweaks here and there, but I've got 10 or 12 that are pretty substantial and probably will be hotly debated. You know, one I'm really proud of is House Bill 943, and I'm working with the Department of Children and Family Services and the Department of Insurance on this bill. And what it's going to do is, in the event of, let's say, bodily injury settlement, where someone's injured in a car wreck and they're entitled to receive a settlement, we're going to make the insurance companies check for back child support payments. So if there's child support payment in arrears before you get this windfall bodily injury settlement, we expect you to take care of that delinquent child support payment. So, really surprised that is not a law already, but we want to make sure that the children get taken care of before payments for things like bodily injury settlements or workers' comp claims or even life insurance settlements. So I think that's only fair to take care of the kids first.
Is that a problem you've been seeing? Like, how'd you come up with that one?
DCFS actually came to me with that, and yeah, and I have visited with a couple of local judges who deal with this every day, and it's a terrible problem. Deadbeat dads not doing everything they can to skirt their responsibilities, and so I think we actually are DCFS is underestimating the impact. I think it's going to make a huge difference in getting some of these child support arrears caught up.
I know I heard the other day that there have been more than 1,300 bills that were filed for this session, and we just heard from you that you have 17 yourself. Okay, let me ask this kind of in two ways. First of all, do we need that many more laws passed in Louisiana? And secondly, or is it more of a case of kind of like what you just described, there are groups or entities that come to you saying, hey, this is an issue that we see happening in the state, and we want to see a law passed about that? Is that more along the lines of where the representatives are carrying bills that have come from the respective communities?
Well, there's no doubt every session there's bills filed that we probably don't need. But just to give you an example of how I come up with some of my bills, and you'd be surprised how many of these bills get started in response to constituent concern. And so a couple of years ago, I started having conversations. People started reaching out to me, female correctional employees at the federal prison in Pollock. And there was just a terrible problem with inmates, male inmates, doing perverse things in front of female correctional workers. And for whatever reason, the federal authorities were unwilling or unable to do anything about it. And so after visiting with these ladies and with the warden and with Sheriff McCain, Judge Willett, District Attorney Jay Lemoyne, I've got a bill this session that's going to create the crime of unlawful exposure by an inmate. And what we're going to do is make sure if these inmates are doing these obscene things in front of my constituents who happen to work at the prison, then they're going to have to register as a sex offender, which is probably the biggest deterrent. You know, these inmates do not want to have to register as a sex offender when they get out of prison. So that's just for me, a real world example of how a local problem turns into a bill that's going to help correctional officers across the state.
I know there's been a lot of talk of removing the income tax in Louisiana. I know each session has its own parameters. Is that something that could be tackled now, or something that could be on the horizon?
I think so. You know, we lowered it, the personal income state tax to a flat 3%. So I think of the states that do have a state income tax, we're the lowest or one of the lowest, but we are absolutely planning on continuing to chip away at it and hopefully to eventually eliminate it. Of course, you've got to do that responsibly. You've got to do that incrementally because, you know, there is revenue there that funds important programs. So difficult to eliminate it completely all at once. But, you know, I think we're developing a plan. You know, Mississippi's got a lot of publicity about legislation they passed to phase out the income tax, but we're actually way ahead of them in doing that. So I think it's possible that probably definitely not this session, but in future special sessions or perhaps next year in a fiscal session, I think it's very likely that we would lower that 3%, even, you know, at least 0.25 or maybe even a 0.5 going forward.
All right, we need to take a break. State Representative Gabe Furman is our guest here on Talkback. We'll be right back.
KSYL.
Hello, I'm Sarah Kramer of Kramer Funeral Home. Funerals don't just signify that a life has ended. They celebrate that a life was lived and loved. At Kramer Funeral Home, we understand the importance of celebrating a life well lived. And since no two people are alike, no two funerals should be alike. We will assist you step by step in creating a meaningful service that honors your loved one's unique life. Let us, the staff at Kramer Funeral Home, be your personal guide.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Now back to Talk Back 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back, and we're talking with Gabe Furman, state representative for District number 22, about the new session that just got underway, Louisiana's legislative session, where a lot of debating will be going on, a lot of hearings and testimonies and all kinds of stuff. Gabe, we do have a call that's coming in for you, so let me conference that in. Good morning, you're on Talk Back with Gabe Furman. Hello, good morning. Okay, well, apparently not there. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so you referenced it earlier, but carbon capture continues to be such a huge issue. I know that you work pretty closely with State Representative Mike Johnson, and he has a number of bills that he's filed that have to do with this. Where do you see that whole debate going during this session?
Well, I will admit, I think we've got an uphill battle to get some of these bills passed. But, as far as I'm concerned, House Bill 7 that Speaker Pro Tem Johnson is carrying, may be the most important bill of the session. It's the Louisiana Landowner Protection Act, which is not anti-industry. It's not anti-carbon capture. It's just pro-private property protection. It would simply say that there's no right of eminent domain for CCS-related activities, for transport or sequestration. And honestly, I don't know why anybody would be opposed to that bill. The idea that we would allow private companies to take people's land for private profit is just mind-boggling to me. What's next? Are we going to take land for dollar stores or car dealerships or widget manufacturers? It just doesn't make sense. I think if we're talking about public utilities or public infrastructure like roads, bridges, schools, we can have that conversation about eminent domain. But the right to own private property is fundamental to who we are as a people. It's enshrined in the Constitution. And if you own your property, you should have the ability to control your property. So, I'm looking forward to that debate. Of course, I'm a co-author with Representative Johnson on House Bill 7, and we'll see how it goes.
You say it's an uphill battle. Who's been pushing back against those the most?
Well, industry, and look, oil and gas is very influential in the legislature and in the state. And again, none of these bills, from my perspective, are anti-oil and gas. It's just about protecting private property and giving local governments and the people the right to choose what happens to land in their communities and the land that they own. So it has been very disappointing to me that some of the representatives and senators who have concerns with carbon capture and sequestration have been portrayed as anti-economic development, anti-oil and gas, and nothing could be farther from the truth. I've also filed House Bill 419, which protects oil and gas companies from these frivolous lawsuits we're seeing in other states that are alleging damage caused by legal emissions causing climate change, which is just a hoax and a scam. So what House Bill 419 would do would provide a liability shield for oil and gas companies facing these climate change lawsuits like we're seeing in California and New York and Illinois and Michigan. So again, that's legislation very favorable to the oil and gas industry. So the carbon capture discussion is just a whole other topic than the economic development opportunities. So it's going to be passionate. That most of those bills will go through the Natural Resources Committee. I don't know when we're going to start hearing those bills, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's something? Okay, so we know it's a big deal here in a hot button issue in central Louisiana, maybe the Lake Charles area, more rural areas. Do you think it's something that New Orleans, Shreveport, Baton Rouge lawmakers are even concerned about or thinking about? Carbon capture.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. They're probably not as passionate about it as my constituents, as the people in my district. But again, I don't know why in the world anybody would be in favor of allowing a private company to take someone's land. I mean, that is it's certainly not a partisan issue, but I mean, it's a red meat Republican issue, if there ever was one, that people have the right to own and control their private property. I mean, if you relinquish that right, what other constitutional rights are you willing to relinquish? So for me, it's worth fighting for, and it's worth taking a stand for. And I'm proud of Mike for leading the charge. And, he's taken more heat than any of us for filing those bills and for really being the voice of the people in bringing some sanity to the whole discussion and protecting this fundamental right to own and control our property.
I know last week Louisiana Radio Network did a story, and they talked about how Cameron Henry, the Senate president, talked about how this would be a major issue this session, and Speaker DeVilliers said that he's in favor of carbon capture. It feels like with the governor also wanting this, I know it's about trying to bring more industry to the state, but is there a chance that the long-term implications of putting this stuff into the ground are just going to be steamrolled over in favor of getting that economic development?
Well, so a couple of things I would say in response to that, Al, is, what I've been told by leadership and by when I was a freshman, and I would talk with leaders in the legislature, what they would always tell me is vote your district. That you shouldn't be penalized for voting your district. Well, I can tell you this: in Grant Parish, I haven't had one single person tell me they're in favor of carbon capture, not one. And I've had hundreds against it. And in LaSalle, I've had a handful of people express support for carbon capture, but many more that are opposed to it. And same in Natchitoches. Maybe one or two that's contacted me in support of it, but overwhelmingly people in my district are opposed to it. So I certainly hope that there wouldn't be any sort of negative repercussions for just doing what the people you represent want. But as far as economic development, it's very simple. The decision that we have to make is the potential economic development worth relinquishing private property rights, and is it worth participating in what I think is a scam and a hoax. And, this idea that we have to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to save the planet from destruction is just ludicrous to me. And the whole carbon capture idea is built on that premise. And I haven't heard anybody refute that. What I've heard is we agree, but the jobs and the tax money and the revenue is worth it. So let's turn a blind eye to the environmental hoax that we're participating in, and let's go get the money. And
Gabe, I got to cut you off because we're at the top of the hour here, and I got a break coming up. Unless you want to join us at 8:05 and continue the conversation, I don't know what your schedule is.
Well, that's up to y'all. I can stick around one more segment if you'd like for me to. But
okay, yeah, all right. Well, I got to take this break quick. We'll come right back.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter. At The Clinics, your health is our priority. Whether it's a routine checkup or ongoing care, we are here for you. Dr. Noah Miller, our newest family medicine physician, along with 5 other dedicated family physicians, are now accepting new patients. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, if you're ever admitted to the hospital, our doctors will see you there too. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823, online at theclinics.us.
Louisiana forests once fueled our economy. Your granddad logged these woods. So did your dad. And now, Beaver Lake Renewable Energy is keeping that legacy alive, turning thinnings and wood byproducts into clean fuel right here in Pineville. It means more jobs, stronger forests, and a future that honors where Central Louisiana came from. Be part of Louisiana's next chapter. Visit BeaverLakeRenewable.com and find out how we're putting Central Louisiana back on the map.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
When buying a home or property, you have a choice for your real estate closing attorney. Fine Legal Services, LLC is a full-service title company offering residential and commercial real estate closings, title insurance, and more. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com. Let your realtor and lender know that you choose Fine Legal Services.
Turn it up loud. KCMC rocks Central Louisiana with the rock and roll legends you know and love and the loudest guitars of all time. Classic rock that never quits can only be found on KCMC, another Simla broadcasting station.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A severe storm system has spawned tornadoes across parts of the Midwest. One twister tore apart homes in Lake Village, Indiana, with deadly results. Fire Department spokeswoman Lori Postma.
We began going to where there was obvious damage, and we did locate some very injured people and 2 fatalities.
A tornado that touched down in Kankakee, Illinois, flattened entire blocks. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano says there's more bad weather ahead.
Today's action shouldn't be as supercellular, which gives you those EF3, AF4 giant long track tornadoes, but it will be widespread from Houston, Texas to Nashville, all the way up potentially to Philadelphia. And we'll see damaging winds, hail.
The war in the Middle East entered day 12. Air raid sirens in Tel Aviv warn of incoming strikes. The neighborhood in Tehran battered as U.S. forces set their sights on Iranian mine-laying ships in the Persian Gulf. Correspondent Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv.
Arab states along the Gulf, including the U.S. bases they host, still face dozens of daily missiles and one-way attack drones. In Bahrain, drone strikes targeted a residential building and an oil refinery, which has been smoldering for days. Dubai's airport confirming it was targeted by 2 drones, which left 4 people wounded.
Both Germany and Austria say they're releasing parts of their oil reserves to offset energy price spikes. Here in the U.S., the average price for regular gasoline is up to $3.58 a gallon. Logan Gabbard, a trucker in Atlanta, is feeling it.
I was going to make plans at the end of March, but since gas prices have went up as much as they have, I can't go through with those plans now.
New fodder for the Fed. The pace of inflation held steady in February, rising at an annual rate of 2.4%. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The big categories that really hurt Americans are categories like shelter, which is up 3% from a year ago, and medical care services, which are up by 4.1%.
The Social Security Administration's Inspector General is investigating a potential data breach by a former DOGE employee. CBS's Michael Wallace.
A whistleblower claims a former DOGE software engineer bragged about having the sensitive Social Security data of 500 million living and dead Americans on a thumb drive, and planned to share the data with the government contractor he now works for. The Washington Post reports the former DOGE employee allegedly told a colleague he expected to receive a presidential pardon if he were ever convicted of a crime.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here. Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring. Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now. JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet. Just a couple things, huh? Maybe more than a couple.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It was a rough night for the American team at the World Baseball Classic.
Team USA is on the brink of elimination.
Judge swings and misses, and Italy has pulled off a stunner.
Italy beating the U.S. 8-6. The Americans now need Italy to beat Mexico tonight to be guaranteed a spot in the quarterfinals. If Mexico beats Italy, all 3 teams will be knotted up with 3 wins and a loss in group play, and the winners will be determined by a tiebreaker, with the team that allowed the most runs eliminated. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Now a dive into the secret life of insects. A new study in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society Bee finds bumblebees can survive for a full week underwater, using an ability to breathe even when they're fully submerged. One biologist calls the findings remarkable. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Sean Burns. The U.S. Geological Survey installs new detection equipment in North Louisiana in the wake of a series of tremors triggered by last week's magnitude 4.9 in Red River Parish. Here's Joe Gallinaro.
Cynthia Abinger with the Tulane University School of Science and Engineering was among the team that installed the earthquake detecting equipment in Northwest Louisiana. Abinger has experience in this, studying the connection between earthquakes and wastewater injection.
We actually have everything recorded. We have a lot of good science to do.
Abinger says the USGS routinely sends rapid response teams to install this equipment anytime there's a magnitude 4.5 or higher earthquake to measure the ground accelerations. I'm Joe Gallinaro.
Caddo Parish District Attorney James Stewart is seeking the death penalty against a man accused of killing a Vivian police officer. 58-year-old Nicholas Alexander is facing first-degree murder charges in the death of 25-year-old officer Mark Brock. Brock was fatally shot November 14th attempting to serve an arrest warrant. LRN. House Transportation has approved legislation to name a new Mississippi River Bridge in Baton Rouge the President Donald J. Trump Expressway. Though some have questioned the naming of the bridge, the legislation by Monroe Representative Michael Eccles could result in securing the needed $3 billion in federal funding for its construction. Denham Springs Republican Representative Kelly Dickerson says the alternative to foregoing federal funding for the bridge would draw the ire of drivers everywhere.
A toll bridge, oh my gosh, to think of another toll bridge, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
The Department of Insurance, meantime, has released its benchmarks for hurricane-only premium discounts for fortified roofs. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple says there are a total of 9 tiers, and they're based on 2 factors.
They're based on whether you are in North, Central, or South Louisiana, and they're also based on whether you have a fortified roof, silver, or gold.
Those discounts are set to take effect January 1st. LRN.
Ram truck owners, here's a recall that pays you. Complete Recall 67A and get $500. Act fast for $1,000. Plus, get a free extended warranty. Make a power move. Learn more at CumminsRecall.com.
Well, one day away from sunshine, but we could see some nasty weather moving through tonight. Overcast skies on our Wednesday. 81 should do it for the afternoon high. Thunderstorms, some of those could be heavy during the evening hours tonight. And then we'll see skies becoming partly cloudy after midnight. Overnight lows down to 46. Then the sunshine returns tomorrow. Should be nice. Quite a bit cooler. The high 64. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
All right, we're back for hour number 2 of Talkback here on your Wednesday. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell, and we're continuing our conversation that started last hour with State Representative Gabe Firment from District 22, and phones started to light up as we got toward the end of the interview, so the representative is graciously giving us another segment here, and we'll continue the conversation. So what's on the agenda for the legislature today? Anything big happening today?
I think there's a Commerce Committee meeting, and on the floor we'll do sexual harassment training. So that's the highlights. You know, the first week is we get some of this procedural stuff out of the way, have a lot of meetings and some social functions. The real work, for me at least, will start next week when I have the first Insurance Committee meeting.
Sure. All right. Well, you have the phones lit up. I want to give the listeners a chance to talk with you. So let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. All right. Good morning. You're on with Gabe Firment.
Hey, good morning, Representative Firment. Thank you for taking my call. I have 2 quick questions. With what we saw in Minnesota and what DOJ has exposed, the corruption and the way that money has been flowing out, is there any effort in our state to make sure that the NGOs in our state are not doing the same thing? There's no reason to expect they're not. And to police that and to get a grip on that money and to reclaim that money. And secondly, with the imbalance that's been steadily accruing power to the federal government, we know the greatest check on the federal government is the states. And so is there any efforts being talked about or in the early session to gain more of our power back as states in oversight over the federal government? So it's a corruption in the federal government. I'll hang up and listen to you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. And no, we are doing things at the state level to crack down on fraud, waste, and abuse with Medicaid. I think the governor mentioned some of that. I can't remember just how much we've identified and reined in, but no, that's been something Governor Landry has made it a point that we want to spend taxpayers' money wisely. The legislature's on board with that. We do have a Louisiana version of DOGE that's been very effective in identifying some of those inefficiencies, and especially when it comes to Medicaid, which is where most of the fraud in Minnesota occurred. So no, we've been very intentional and very successful in that. And the second question, establishing sovereignty as a state. I don't know of any specific legislation that's been filed this year. I do know Representative Owen from Leesville, that's something he's very interested in, and he's done some good work. And so I know we've passed legislation with things like protecting the Second Amendment, where we're not going to relinquish our Second Amendment rights because of some sort of federal agency interference. So probably got a little more work to do there, but no, we have addressed that issue and passed some pretty significant legislation.
All right, let's take another call, and thank you for waiting. You're on with Gabe Furmans.
Yeah, a couple things. I'm sure that you're familiar with Moon Griffon and probably occasionally listen to his program. He's been all over this issue of $120 to $150 million shortfall in New Orleans budget. And apparently the legislature has not enacted anything to really hold anybody to account. I mean, how can you lose that much money and nobody go to jail?
Yeah, no, New Orleans is, they've got some problems. Of course, they've got a new mayor. Hopefully she'll turn things around. But, part of the governor's address to the legislature earlier in the week, he really went after the judiciary in New Orleans, which is one area where there is a lot of, there appears to be a lot of abuse and a lot of waste. And I was actually part of a group that had breakfast with the governor yesterday, and I can tell you that he is very focused on making sure New Orleans runs properly and that those abuses are eliminated. And I expect the legislature to support those efforts 100%.
Well, is somebody going to actually be held to account, taken before a grand jury? I mean, that kind of, it's not just waste, it's obviously criminal.
No, I agree, and I certainly hope that's going to be the case.
And another thing, I continually hear the Beaver Lake ads on this particular channel, and it kind of bothers me that
Oops, we lost you.
Yep.
Still there?
Yeah, yeah, you broke up on us.
Okay, clean energy at Beaver Lake. The clean energy generates carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, in quotes, is theoretically not clean. It has to be put in the ground, threatening our groundwater reserves that are important for all of southwestern Louisiana. I certainly hope that you'll take some action in this regard.
Yeah, no, and you may have missed some of my comments earlier, but I've co-authored several bills that are designed to rein in some of the carbon capture and sequestration abuses, in my opinion, and you know, sort of along the lines of what you mentioned there with the Beaver Lake project, and it's my understanding that the CO2 from that project would be transported to Vernon Parish. And you know, a couple of weeks ago, I got a call from a friend of mine, a constituent who lives in Grant Parish, but his wife grew up and inherited 20 acres in Vernon Parish, I think close to Simpson, where I believe this Class 6 injection well is planned. And you know, her and her siblings inherited this 20 acres that their parents worked for all their lives, and apparently someone with a landman with one of these CO2 companies more or less told her and her siblings, you need to sign this 5-year lease for $300 an acre. If you don't sign this lease agreement for carbon sequestration, we're going to take it and not pay you anything. Now, for one thing, that's not the law. If they did take that pore space through the domain, they would have to pay market value. But you know, just the idea that someone would tell a private landowner, if you don't sign this lease, we're going to take it anyway and not pay you. Now, who in the world could ever support something like that? So, you know, again, for me, it all comes down to protecting private property.
All right.
Okay, now, can I
we need to
one
move,
more point?
One
Sure.
more quick, because we got to wrap this up.
Okay, the House passes, in quotes, good bills. Then they go to the Senate and they die. The House can say, we did something, but the nasty Senate shut it down.
Well, that's the Senate would probably say the House kills good bills sometimes, but as a representative, I am not going to disagree with you on that. And look, I would say for everybody, call your representatives, call your senators, and let them know what's important to you. And hey, every 4 years, we're held accountable for those votes.
All right. Thank you for the call. We do appreciate it. Gabe, before we let you go, we do want to kind of circle back on insurance reforms. I know you have been in the forefront of this battle, speaking of good bills dying in the Senate, but there have been some positive things that have happened there, and we're starting to see some rate decreases, and I believe another one was announced this week, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. And so, look, of course, we've still got work left to do, but we've really received some good news. Personal auto premiums declined by 5.8% in 2025. Homeowners still slightly increasing in 2025, but very, very minimal. We've got new carriers coming in. State Farm is issuing $136 million in dividends to their policyholders on top of a 6% decrease. Progressive, Farm Bureau, and Al and Stephen, what I would tell everyone, you've got to shop around. You know, go to State Farm, Allstate, Shelter, Farm Bureau, your independent agent. If you shop around for better rates, I am very, very optimistic you're going to get very competitive quotes on personal auto and homeowners. Again, we got work left to do, especially on commercial auto, but we're seeing really, really positive signs.
Well, I know we are, and I know that there's more work to do. So I just want to say we appreciate your efforts with all of this. I know you're only one guy that's down there with a lot of other factors, but thank you for representing your district well, and thank you for giving us time here on Talkback today.
Yeah, no problem. You know, Al, we've got a good team here in Central Louisiana working for the people. So, but y'all call me anytime.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
Okay.
it. All right.
Thanks.
That's State Representative Gabe Furman, District 22. More Talkback coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinic's on North Dalton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for takeoff.
United Express flights to Houston are taking off in May from Alexandria International Airport. Reservations are now open for twice daily flights operated by SkyWest Airlines. Skip the drive. With nonstop service to Houston, you're one step closer to nearly 200 destinations worldwide. And if you're a United Mileage Plus loyalty member, you can earn miles for your flights.
Houston, we have liftoff.
Book now at flyaex.org/united. Reunited. And we're so excited.
Blended families, bonus children, and co-parenting can bring amazing experiences, but it can also be overwhelming and complicate your estate plan. How can families navigate the process when entering into this wonderful journey? I'm George Fine with Fine Legal Services. When it comes to your family's questions, our team can make planning for the future seamless and transparent. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com.
LSBA number LA2316294.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back here on this Wednesday. Alan Stephen with you. Thanks again to Gabe Ferment. You know, one thing I noticed kind of before this session started, it seemed like a lot of our local reps were kind of quiet. Did you notice that?
The whole session's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to past years where there was a lot of buildup and...
Well, it was the first, full one for Landry, right? No? Yes.
Last year... Was that the first?
Was the year they tackled a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Might have been a second. But
they all blend together.
They do. And there's, besides this show, there's minimal interest in state politics, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For the general public.
That's true.
And so, sometimes, like we said before, if things aren't exciting in the legislature, might mean that it might be better. We don't, like you said, is it necessary to pass a bajillion laws? Right. But then again, like the stuff he talked about, fixing these things that go under the radar and things that people deal with that we don't personally deal with. So that makes sense as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But I appreciate Gabe's always willing to give his time. I mean, I can call him up pretty much any time, and he's willing to come on the show. So I want to thank him for that.
They all really do a good job here. They're very responsible.
Yeah.
So
Chuck Owen's another one that he loves, especially if he's driving down there on a Monday morning. We'll probably hear from him a few times over the next couple months.
Chuck, Gabe, they're all just good people. They're good guys.
Yeah. So, and I know you've covered the legislature in the past, having to go down to Baton Rouge. You always loved that, didn't you?
That was my first job I was hired for at KLB when I was a college kid. And I'll never forget, I was so jazzed up and, nervous about going to Baton Rouge. That's a big deal for, a college kid on his own to cover the state legislature. And there's already a lot of logistics and red tape to get there and get the passes and everything. And I spend the whole day there shooting video, the whole day, interviews. And the whole time I'm learning my camera. These are, they're hard. There's a learning curve. I'm like, man, everything looks real dark. And, I don't know, maybe it's just the monitor. So I just kept rolling with it. And I remember calling Brian or somebody hey, dude. He's like, oh, it's fine. It's just probably the lighting in there. So I get back and all the footage is just too dark.
Oh, no.
Looks like I shot it at night. I had on the shutter.
Oh.
I didn't even know about the shutter. I mean, I was brand new.
Yeah.
I wasted the whole day.
Oh.
Besides learning the lesson of turn off your shutter. And so I was just so embarrassed. I was so upset. But it is what it is, and you You adjust. And then when I was a seasoned professional, like 6 years into the job, y'all sent me there for like the big budget.
And you forgot the tripod?
I forgot the tripod and the batteries. It's just tough, man. Like you get in a hurry and, you know.
Yeah, we had to have somebody come meet you like halfway.
Met him in Opelousas. I stayed and I had somebody with me. I can't remember who it was, but
Kyle maybe?
Maybe Kyle. And I was just so upset. But I really, you know, it's nothing against, I know some people love it and we need people to do it. I just cannot stand going to Baton Rouge and going to the state capitol to cover the session. Maybe I'm lazy or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it, man. But if you're a reporter in Baton Rouge or you're in that area and you have a quota of stories to do every day, those reporters love it because it's a guaranteed story every day. Because, you know, you usually have to think of like story ideas.
Right.
Well, you used to. These days, it's just like you do a story a week, it seems like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, not a big fan. Inside baseball there for you.
All right, let's go back to the phones on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Good morning. I think the legislature is going to have to pass a very specific bill if they're going to try to get anything past the U.S. Supreme Court to use eminent domain for economic development. The U.S. Supreme Court has already decided that.
Yeah.
It can be used. And so they can talk about whatever bill they put together, but I hate to see it turned around in a year or two by the U.S. Supreme Court to declare it not the law of the land.
Right.
So there might be some particulars they can do to try to get something done. And I think the representative or whoever talks about it to talk about very specifically about what they're trying to formulate, because you can't, the Supreme Court has already decided using eminent domain for economic development is legal.
I just have, this is me personally, I just have a bad feeling about this session, what's going to happen with all this. Knowing that the governor wants it, knowing that the leadership in Baton Rouge, for the most part, wants it. It's the poor, small, rural parishes. Do they really care about y'all? I mean, really, at the end of the day, they only care about one thing, getting the money. So
and the whole thing is a hoax.
And I appreciate that Gabe Furman even agreed with that. So yeah, it's, you know, the president calls it a Green New Scam, but then on the White House website, you have them promoting carbon capture as one of the options for the industry, I guess. Yeah,
for sure.
And you know, it goes back to what we said the other day. I get it. We need jobs here. I get it. A methanol plant makes a lot of sense. I get it. It's going to be huge for the timber industry. I get it. But what I don't get is why we have to risk potentially the long-term safety, especially of our groundwater or our air, because of what Europe wants.
And I'm just giving the other side here.
Yeah.
You know, I keep my opinions to myself, but you'll hear the other side say that we have tested this. We believe in the technology. There's going to be ample amount of monitoring. That's what they say.
Yeah.
And from a lot of the industry leaders, their sentiment is that the risk is very low. That's what they would say. And I'm just giving both sides here.
It's always feels lower when it's someone else that has to bear the risk too.
And that's what a lot of people are concerned about.
Yep.
So I do want to, we're about to take a break.
Got another minute.
Okay. Go ahead. Take the call.
Okay. We have a caller coming in. All right. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Look, you know, as far as like New Orleans, the budget shortfall in New Orleans goes, you know, I don't know anything about that, but I just don't see how that's obvious that's fraud. It could be any number of reasons.
It may be fraud, but at the very least, it was complete mismanagement.
Well, mismanagement is not fraud.
I know that entities do have a fiduciary responsibility. So I don't know what the legal ramifications of all that are, and we don't know. I mean, it may be fraud. I think that's all people are saying is, where did the money go?
Right. Yeah, have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
So have you I want to go about this very carefully, but you've probably seen it online. The situation over a local business. Have you seen those social media pages where they catch alleged child predators and they confront them in public?
Yes.
Have you seen the one here?
No.
There's a page called Preds v. Prey. They basically do these videos where, you know, they act as an adult or as a minor, right? And get adults talking with them, and then, you know, they catch them in the act, which is horrible stuff, right? When a man or woman would do that. Well, there's a page called Preds v. Prey. I think that's how you say it.
Okay, I'm seeing it in Alexandria.
And they went to Glaston, etc., to confront one of the employees there. I've only seen the video where they confronted the owner, who's a fantastic guy, and the management. And they were upset, like concerned, like, what are you doing here? What's going on? You don't have a right to be in our business. And Glaston did come out with a statement on Facebook to our customers and community. It's been a very difficult and disappointing day for our business. We were confronted with a deeply troubling situation involving one of our own employees and their actions that we had no prior knowledge of. After learning of these deplorable circumstances, our team took immediate action and permanently terminated the person's employment. We want to ensure no misunderstanding. The conduct being discussed and displayed in the released videos and other imaging do not reflect our values nor ethics as an entirety. We do not and will not tolerate any illegal or inappropriate behavior of any kind, especially in regard to the matter at hand of which took place today. And they go on and say some other things too. But I saw, and I know those videos are disturbing, but they're made to be entertaining too.
Yeah.
And so these pages are trying to make money. There's even paywalls on some of them, of them confronting these employees. And you can see the owner and the management at Glaston, they got defensive. And so I think some people misconstrue that as like they're sticking up for a predator. I don't think that's what it is. I think they were blindsided.
Yes.
And you got people in there with cameras coming up in your face, and it's a difficult situation. And that's something, and that's why I almost was hesitant about bringing it up here, but that's something that could disparage your business for no reason. Like, I don't know what you do in your free time. I don't know what our other employees do in our free time.
Right.
So I feel bad for, you know, any victims in this situation, and I feel bad for the business who had to have their name and out there like that. And I almost feel like these predator groups, I'm not trying to be confrontational here, but if justice was the main goal, right, in getting a criminal off the street, why make a spectacle of it? Why not just go to the police?
Right.
You know, and if nothing's done then, do what you have to do, right? But I'm sure it's a convoluted situation, innocent till proven guilty, and I'm sure we'll see some stuff from law enforcement eventually. But that was making rounds, and I bring it up because it was brought up to me multiple times throughout the day, and one of those situations.
Yeah, I had no idea about it. All right, well, we'll come back and talk more.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. New worries about the war in the Middle East. Sources say the International Energy Agency wants to release a record amount of emergency oil reserves that could ease crude oil futures, but they're still rising this morning. That's as several ships in the Strait of Hormuz report being hit, and concerns about Iran laying missiles in the strait increase. A new report, meantime, indicates underlying U.S. inflation was tame in February, but that was before the war with Iran. Nintendo getting some positive attention on the surprise success of the new Pokemon Pokopia game. Physical copies for Nintendo Switch 2 console have already sold out at major retailers like Target, and Amazon's been hiking prices. And Taco Bell unveiling new menu items, including the Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets, and also, as they branch out a bit, Mountain Dew Baja Blast Under Eye Patches, infused, they say, with caffeine and citrus to cool and energize your skin. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
For over 35 years, Security Metal Roofing has been Cenla's trusted name for metal buildings and roofing. When it comes to the highest quality materials at rock-bottom prices and top-tier service, nobody does it better. And don't worry, great prices doesn't mean cutting corners. Our Cool Chemistry color sheeting comes with a 40-year warranty, plus the peace of mind that comes with a team that has over 150 years of combined experience. From sheeting and red iron to roll-up doors and insulation, you get more for your money at Security Metal Roofing. Whether you need a new roof, carport, or are building your dream shop, we're here to help every step of the way. Apples to apples, we won't be undersold, and that's a guarantee. Call 445-0223 for your quote today, or visit us at Security Metal Roofing on Masonic Drive in Alexandria, or online at securitymetalroofing.com. Security Metal Roofing, your local experts in metal roofing and buildings, where quality, service, and price come together.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Hi, I'm Rhett with Entergy Louisiana, and I'm a customer too. I'm proud to say that our rates are 33% below the national average. Every day, our team is focused on keeping costs lower for you. We take affordability personally because this is our home too. So we work harder and smarter to fight rising costs while also improving reliability for years to come. This isn't just my job, it's a commitment to my community. Together, we power life. Entergy.
Well, one day away from sunshine, but we could see some nasty weather moving through tonight. Overcast skies on our Wednesday. 81 should do it for the afternoon high. Thunderstorms, some of those could be heavy during the evening hours tonight. And then we'll see skies becoming partly cloudy after midnight. Overnight lows down to 46. Then the sunshine returns tomorrow. Should be nice. Quite a bit cooler. The high 64. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Okay, so during the commercial break, I had a chance to watch the video, and Steve was watching it too, put it on 2x speed. If you're just tuning in, we were talking about a video on a Facebook page called Preds v. Pray, where apparently these two guys go around and they confront would-be child molesters kind of people. Is that fair to say?
Allegedly communicating with what they thought was a minor, and they would be adults.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't even know where these guys are from, but they were in Alexandria the other day, and they were trying to confront a person who works at a local business, which if you go and watch the video, we already said what the business is, glass tin, etc. But watching the video, this has absolutely nothing to do with glass tin, etc.
Yes.
The guy just happens to work there. But a couple of things that kind of bother me about the video. Number one, they come in recording on what is a business like that is not a public forum place. It's a limited public forum because you invite the public to come in, but there are some laws when it comes to recording secretly like that, that if I were glass tin, I may actually look into some legal action potentially against these guys.
And it's easier to get away with it now, too, because of meta glasses.
Yes, yeah.
It's harder to see what's going on.
Yeah, you don't even know. Yeah. So they were asking for this guy. He wasn't at work at the time. Then they came back and he was, and they said, can you step out so we can talk to you? So the bulk of the conversation happens after they leave the building, and they actually invite the guy into their vehicle to talk more about it, which it's kind of crazy that somebody would jump in a vehicle like that, not knowing who these people are. But he was basically a 30-year-old guy who they say is having a text conversation with a 15-year-old girl. And apparently the grandmother reported it. So it's just them asking him about that situation,
Yeah, and that's the gist of it. And I just want to go more of the angle of Glass Tint's response. We'll let the court system handle any alleged wrongdoing by an employee, but, you know, it's... I know for a fact, like, I've talked to the owner before.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. That's his baby. Like, they worked hard at that business.
Yeah.
They put their life into that business. They built a successful one.
Right.
So it just, I think people need to be more cognizant of that. And you can't know what everyone's doing all the time, unless more stuff comes out, you know.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So somebody was saying that people are hopping on their Google review page and, you know, kind of blowing that up now. And it's like the level of complete unfairness to this business.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, so, all right. So for these guys who run this Facebook page, I mean, I don't know who they are. I don't know. I haven't looked at their full body of work and what they're doing. They say the purpose of this channel is to educate and inform parents, communities about the dangers that children may face online and to provide insight on those who may cause those dangers. I mean, yeah, I get that. And there's a lot of bad stuff that's out there, but
I think things need to be done responsibly.
Right.
Yeah. Responsible adults handling it.
Right.
So.
Right. Interesting. Well, all right, we have another call coming in. Let's go ahead and take that. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. I wanted to follow up a little bit with Gabe Furman.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations to him as far as the complete theory. I mean, a really deep dive and understanding of just flat out stupidity of the carbon capture and sequestration. And I've been following it for now several years. And my background is heavily in forestry and so on, and with an understanding of CO2 and whatnot. And if there was not the money doled out, theoretically to be doled out by the government, there would be no such thing as carbon sequestration. We need CO2 in the air, and we need just to continue the balance that we enjoy. And with the outlook of a little bit of improvement over the years, such as has occurred with the green up of a chunk of the world, supporting growth now that used to be desert. And at any rate, I'm so sick and tired of hearing the hoop and holler about sequestration. It's just at any rate a great amount of appreciation to Gabe Furman. That's what I called about.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. Yes, sir. And we appreciate your call. We have more coming in. We'll take them right after this.
KSYL.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Some smiles sound like this, while others sound this way.
If you'd like to improve the way your smile sounds, the folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver. Over the years, hundreds of Central Louisiana patients have visited Today's Dental and then left completely satisfied. Their dental implant procedure is amazingly simple, low anxiety, and completely affordable. Today's technology makes your beautiful smile easier than ever. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled certified nurse and anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Want your smile to sound better? Give Today's Dental a call at 318-448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 318-448-4540.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Now back to Talk Back. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. BOM Bank Talk Line, 318-442-8255. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on Talk Back.
Good morning, guys. This is Brendan Dubrock. How are you doing today?
Hey, Brendan. How are you?
Oh, man, we are on the road. I'm on the road actually heading to Baton Rouge to meet Dr. Fleming. So, busy day.
Brendan is with the John Fleming campaign, so just so folks know.
Yeah, so there's some concerns that were brought up earlier. I wanted to let everybody know that this still can be defeated. The thing that we have to watch out for when it comes to eminent domain, so oil, gas, electric lines, water lines, those are a commodity. So those fall under the premise and the law of a common carrier. So as long as our state legislators do not label this carbon capture sequestration as a common carrier, they cannot take your land. So we have to make sure that that does not go into law. Is there a bill right now in session filed to make that a common carrier? Not that I'm aware of. The other thing is, I want to bring attention to something that was very interesting. We had an oil and gas company come and speak with Dr. Fleming, and a well-known worldwide company. Two representatives from that company came, and Dr. Fleming flat out asked them, if it was not for the 45 credits, would you still be doing this? And they kind of smirked and they said, no. So they actually said that, and Dr. Fleming is talking about that.
Well,
he
Stephen,
is the
if I
only one
remember
running.
right,
Go ahead.
Stephen, when we had the officials on from the Beaver Lake Project parent company, it's escaping me right now, but we asked them that, and they said that was true.
What specific part?
That if it wasn't for the 45Q credits, they wouldn't do this project.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to be clear, people also, you referred to the White House website about carbon capture and sequestration. So there's difference in wells. The enhanced oil recovery used by the oil and gas industry to push oil and gas up out of their well is called enhanced oil and gas recovery. They do put CO2 in the ground, a minute amount, and that has been a common practice. And we're for that. Those are tier 2 wells. Now, what these wells that are coming and these new pipelines are high pressured, and I'm going to quote NG3, who was under deposition in Baton Rouge. These are larger pipelines that will be liquefied, cooled, and at a supercritical state. Not my words. The company's NG3, and they were under deposition in Baton Rouge. So these large-scale wells are Tier 5 and Tier 6 wells. So when people want to keep quoting Trump as saying he's for this, what happened was they labeled the lobbyists were smart. They put all this under the same terminology as EOR. So this is not what we're fighting. We're for the oil and gas company. We're just not for these large-scale storage products where the taxpayers are funding this stuff. But we have to make sure that we don't let anybody allow them to label these wells and the carrier pipelines common carrier.
All right. Well, we're hoping and praying that our legislature does the right thing.
Well, we are also.
All right.
So,
thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
I want to mention one thing, too. Do I have time?
Yeah.
To be quick. So there's going to be a blood drive for a little boy. Essentially, he has a medical issue where he doesn't create red blood cells, so he has to have a certain amount of blood per day. The Alexandria Church of Latter-day Saints off of Versailles Boulevard is hosting a blood drive for him with LifeShare. It's going to be this Saturday, March 14th, starting in the morning, I think around 9 o'clock. You can check out the full video on my page. Little boy's name is Declan, precious little boy, and they are trying to help him out as much as possible. So go donate blood if you can. Versailles Boulevard, 611 Versailles in Alexandria, this Saturday at the LDS Church. They're also doing other activities like creating packs for the homeless and other local service projects. So check that out.
All right. Very good. All right. Let's take another call before we go to our last break. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Have you heard that stupid ad they're running now occasionally that George Soros is the one pushing the anti-CO2 sequestration information?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they've had it on the old station a couple. They don't have it very often.
Okay.
Yeah, but George Soros is the one pushing the anti-sequestration.
Oh, okay. They're saying that Soros is behind the effort to oppose.
To oppose sequestration.
Gotcha.
I mean,
well, you seem like you're a type that's influenced by George Soros.
Total lie. Total lie.
I'm kidding, of course.
I tell you what upsets me about this, and I'm sure we're gonna get it. It's gonna fail. I believe Brad LeBlanc. He said those wells those CO2 is gonna leak sooner or later. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. But what disturbs me is like Royal Martin supporting it. The Louisiana Forestry Association is supporting it. I just say it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. I just hope it fails sooner rather than later. I just can't believe these people are so gullible. They would be willing to take a chance on our water. I mean, you just two things you can't do without it. First of all is oxygen. Second thing is water. It'd just be devastating to our state if we lose our water source.
Yeah. Well, I know we've talked a lot about it. We've talked about it a lot. So we always appreciate your thoughts on it. And we're going to have to see what happens in the next 90 days. So,
this earthquake up at Coshada, I hope that gives them pause to think about it. Because I was reading about it, and the experts, there was one expert on earthquakes, but she was a woman. She was totally blindsided by this. This was not on her radar that we were going to have that severe of an earthquake in Louisiana. Anyway, I hope Royal Martin and Louisiana Forest Association people come to their senses and just realize it's just too big of a risk to take.
Yep. All right. Thank you for the call. We'll be right back.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
The world once needed lots of paper made right here in central Louisiana. Now we're making a comeback with clean methanol. Beaver Lake Renewable Energy will turn Louisiana wood into fuel, creating hundreds of direct and indirect jobs and giving loggers a steady market again. It's not just a plant, it's a promise to our land, our people, and our future. Visit beaverlakerenewable.com and find out how we're putting central Louisiana back on the map.
Tired of that same plumbing issue? Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Plumbing problems, large or small, Southern Air will fix them all. And you'll get service with no delay from certified technicians the very same day. Take advantage of our $99 drain clearing special and our 0% financing for those larger jobs. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com, the official heating and cooling provider for LSU football.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
From America's #1 travel radio show, I'm Robert Carey with today's RM World Travel Minute. As American air power and superiority in the skies is on full display in Iran currently, a major change is coming to another military aircraft operated here at home. Air Force One will soon take on the red, white, and blue colors of America, and it will also add in gold as well. The presidential jet has had the familiar light blue and white scheme dating back to 1962 when Jackie Kennedy prompted a redesign. She didn't like the harsh military camouflage colors previously used. Now, I'm sure half the country will hate this change because President Trump is making it. I'm not even going to engage that today as it's unfortunate. Instead, I'll share I'm in favor of this change. I think projecting America's red, white, and blue with gold accents on the updated jets, it will better align with the colors this country is known for. The jet given to us by Qatar last year will be the first with a new paint job. The two new 747s coming in 2028 will mirror it. An Air Force Two C-32A jet is already flying with the new colors now, so you may see it in the skies or at an airport near you. Share your thoughts with me on this move at rmworldtravel.com/contact.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
All right, welcome back, everyone, on Talkback here on a Wednesday morning. Al Quartermont. And Stephen Maxwell as well. Playing a clip for you from 2008, Boston. That was shortly after Brad Delp had committed suicide. The band was left with a what-to-do moment. Through MySpace, Tom Schultz, the leader of Boston, found a guy working at Home Depot who covered Boston songs, and his daughter put him on MySpace, reached out to him. Make a long story short, he joined the band and ended up becoming their lead singer, Tommy DiCarlo. But he passed away on Monday at the age of 60 after a long battle with brain cancer.
No.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that clip? They actually started out touring not just with DiCarlo, but Michael Sweet was a singer with Stryper, which was a Christian heavy metal band. And, and they were using him too. So I actually saw a concert down to the Coshada. I was helping work it with the video crew. This was 2008 when they had this kind of new iteration of these two guys. And eventually Sweet went off the tour and just kind of went back to doing his thing. But DiCarlo continued on with Boston up until, well, the time of his death. So kind of an amazing story with a sad ending. But yeah, Tommy DiCarlo. that it's 60. And I read on the same day that Brad Delp had died, too. So that's kind of crazy. Same calendar. Brad Delp, the original lead singer of Boston.
Wow.
Just another band out of Boston, Steve. All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Talk Back.